Welcome back, Eco Explorers. This week we're going to be planting seeds in containers, like I promised. And for that you're going to need, that's right, seeds. So first I'm going to show you where you can find some seeds. Then I'm going to show you how you can plant those seeds in a container. And finally I'm going to check up on our corn in our garden. Now there's a saying I've heard about corn, that it needs to be knee-high by the 4th of July. So that's what we're gonna check today. We're gonna see if our corn is knee-high, and if not, we're gonna see if we think it might be knee-high by the 4th of July, since that's coming up. Okay, let's get started. So like I said, for this activity, you need seeds. Now, you might be familiar with seeing some seed packets like you get at the store, but there are also some other places you can get seeds. Can you think of anything that you eat that also has seeds? For me, I think of apples, I think of oranges, I think of cherries. All of these have seeds that you can save and try to grow yourself. And there's actually one other place where you can get seeds that's not from the store. So I'm going to show you that too. So another place you can get seeds from is actually from plants that you don't even eat. So right here I have a California golden poppy, and poppies are special for two reasons. One is that they're the state flower of California. Go California! And two, California poppies are native to California. So if something is native to a place, that means it's originally from that place and it grows especially well there. So as you can see, this front poppy is a little bit dried out. We have another poppy in the back that's a little bit happier. But something good about the dried out poppies is that you can actually seed save from them. So if you can see, there are these green things at the end called seed pods. And I'll give you a close-up of one that I managed to pull. And I can give you a better shot of that later. So basically, when your poppy starts drying up, you can grab the dried up seed pods and take them inside to continue drying them. And then once they're more dried out, you can actually use the seeds you've saved to plant a whole new group of poppies. Alright, so I'm going to give you a closer look at what this looks like. So, as you can see on this tray, there are some different types of seeds. So we have an avocado pit here in the middle. Over here, we have some corn seeds, like we used for our Three Sisters companion garden. Over here, we have some sunflower seeds, and these sunflower seeds are pretty cool because they're Hopi blue dye sunflower seeds, so you can actually make dye out of them. That might be another project. We have, of course, our California golden poppy, and I included the seed pod so you can see where some of these tiny little seeds come from. And we have some nasturtium seeds. So, while we're looking at all these seeds, is there something that you notice about them? One thing that I noticed is that they are all different shapes and sizes and colors. But seeds still need the same basic things to start out their life. They need sun, they need soil, they need water, and they need space. For this activity, you're going to need a small shovel, also known as a trowel. You're going to need seeds, of course. So I'm going to be using some nasturtium seeds that I saved. You're going to need something to plant in, so like a regular planting container, or you can make your own. You're going to need some soil, and you're going to need something to water your seeds with. at the end. Okay, so for starting seeds in containers, you definitely need a container. You can use a traditional kind of plant pot like this. You can use those 6 packs of planters, where you can put a seed in each compartment. Or, if you like, you can make your own container. Now this usually requires recycling something. So egg cartons are good for starting seeds. And another option is you can make your own container out of an old yogurt cup. Now, if you do decide to make your own container, it is good to think about what regular plant pots look like as a kind of model for your container. Now, the biggest thing to consider is if you want your plants to be able to drain water out the bottom. So as you can see in this container, there's a little hole in the bottom, and that just helps the plants drain out excess water so that your seeds don't drown. So to make my yogurt container more like this container, I also have drilled a small hole in the bottom, and I didn't actually use a drill, I used scissors. I would recommend getting an adult to help you with this. And one of the bonuses of recycling a yogurt container is that you actually have a little lid that can serve as a tray for the extra water. So this is the container that we'll be planting in today. So the first thing that I'm gonna do now that my container is prepared is I am going to add some soil to my container. And you can get good soil for pretty cheap, dirt cheap, at pretty much any garden store. But if you have access to a yard or a place you can dig up dirt for free, all the better. So I'm gonna keep adding soil. Now, I don't want to fill it all the way to the top because I want to leave some room for water for when I'm going to water my seed. So I'm using my trowel to carefully add soil to my container. And make sure if you're doing this, maybe do it outside in case the dirt gets everywhere so it doesn't spill too much. Alright. So now we have our soil, and that's one of the first things that plants need. So I'm gonna take our seed, our nasturtium seed that I saved, and when you're planting them, one of the things you have to think about is how deep you want to plant your seeds. So usually a good rule to keep in your head is you want to plant your seeds about as deep as they are wide twice, or double their width. So how far across they are. So again, it's our little seed. It's pretty small. So I would say I would plant it maybe just a little bit shorter than the tip of my finger. So to do that, I'm gonna gently poke a hole in the soil, and I'm gonna drop my seed in, and then I'm gonna very carefully tuck it in and cover it up. And you wanna do that gently, because if you press down too hard, the seed's not gonna have enough air or space to send out its roots. Now, I'm gonna do one more for you. And since I mentioned space is one of the things that seeds need, I put this seed right here. Now, do you think I should put the next seed right over here, right next to it? Probably not, huh? So instead, I'm gonna make sure that the seed has at least a few inches of space and plant a hole for my other seed right here. I'm gonna plop it in. You can see kind of where it is. And I'm gonna gently tuck some soil over it. Now, we said that seeds need space, they need soil, they need, what else would help them start out their life? Water, that's right. So now we are going to take a little bit of water help our seeds grow. Oh, as you can see, this is a big watering can for a small container. I might recommend a cup. And as you can see, this extra water drips out the bottom and it's nicely held by our little tray. But if you pour too much water, like I might have done, it could spill out the side. So make sure you do this over a sink or outside to catch some of the water. Now, the final thing that seeds need, if they have soil and sun, oh, I already said it. Sun is the final thing that seeds need. So, if you took your little plant and you put it in the coolest, darkest corner of your house, do you think it would grow very well? Probably not. But if you put it in a window or you put it outside where it can get some sunlight, your plants will definitely grow. That's it for how you plant seeds in a container. I'm sitting under the tree of 40 fruit trying to get a little bit of shade, so it's also featured in this video. Now, just because your seed is planted doesn't mean your job is done quite yet, because we still need the seed to germinate. Have you heard that word before? Germinate. This is my hand for doing a new word. Germinate. So, for seeds to germinate or start growing, they need water pretty much every day until you see the little green sprouts come out from your seed, pop up from the soil, and you'll see them. Now, that's usually about a week to 2 weeks before you see those. And that's how you can tell your seed has germinated, when you see the little green sprouts. After that, you can probably switch to watering it about every other day, depending on how hot it is where you are. All right, so finally, last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna check on our corn from last week. So if you remember, here is our corn from our Three Sisters companion garden, and we're testing if we think it'll be knee-high by the 4th of July. So, first test, I'm gonna do an estimation. It's not quite there yet, but that is completely okay because our corn is still growing and it is tall enough where next week we can plant sister bean and it'll climb up our corn without hurting it. All right, thanks for joining me, Eco Explorers. Bye.
Thank you for watching our virtual Purple Museums broadcast. If you're enjoying this content, please consider making a donation to support our efforts. Our summer broadcasts are every Wednesday and Friday on Facebook and YouTube. Stay in the loop by joining our email list. Visit www.cdm.org and sign up today.